This is ACIM Lesson 84, Review Lessons 67, 68. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're jumping straight into something that honestly, fundamentally challenges how we go about our daily lives. We are going to unpack how to drastically reduce your own daily suffering. How? By letting go of anger, dropping resentment, and literally shifting your core identity. So if you've ever felt just weighed down by frustration, maybe some anxiety, or that heavy baggage of past conflicts we all seem to carry around, well, you're in the exact right place. We're going to break down some absolutely incredible source material today to help you navigate your own mind a little bit better with zero judgment or preachiness. Let's get right to it.
Right at the top, let's look at the two review lessons we're covering today. First, we have Lesson 67, Love Created Me Like Itself. And second, Lesson 68, Love Holds No Grievances. Now, on the surface, these might sound like those nice, poetic affirmations you'd see printed on a coffee mug or a greeting card, right? But in this explainer, we're going to unpack these profound spiritual concepts and transform them into highly practical psychological tools for everyday peace. These are not just comforting thoughts. They are literally designed to be a completely different operating system for your mind.
Okay, let's dive into this. Looking at the core text for Lesson 67, we hit this truly radical idea. It says, I am in the likeness of my Creator. I cannot suffer, I cannot experience loss, and I cannot die. Now, let's be real for a second. If you're sitting in gridlock traffic or dealing with a massively stressful life event, reading I cannot suffer might feel like a huge stretch, right? But the text is pointing us toward a foundational shift in perspective. It's telling us that our true reality, that deepest, most authentic part of who we are, is entirely untouchable by the chaos of the physical world. The pain, the stress, the loss we feel, that belongs to our temporary physical experience, but absolutely not to our core essence. To really grasp this, we kind of need to translate some of this dense spiritual vocabulary into plain English. The source text draws a really hard line between your true self, with a capital S, and your self-concept, or what it calls making idols. Now, worshiping idols sounds ancient and dramatic, but practically speaking, it simply means clinging to the false ideas, the labels, and the limitations that we constantly attach to ourselves. Your self-concept is basically the ego. It's your job title, your past traumas, your bank account balance, or even just your daily frustrations. The true self, on the other hand, is the unchangeable reality created by love. It is whole, it doesn't need defending, and it literally cannot be diminished by outside circumstances. And this brilliantly illustrates the vast difference between how we usually operate and how we could operate. It's like a giant puzzle. On one side, we have the ego's illusion. This version of you believes deeply in suffering, is constantly terrified of experiencing loss, and identifies entirely as this fragile body navigating a hostile, unpredictable world. But on the other side, we have the true self. This is the part of you created by love, which, according to the text, literally cannot suffer because it's the eternal likeness of its creator. The everyday stress and exhaustion we feel, it's often just the friction of bouncing back and forth between these two identities, and, let's face it, usually defaulting to the illusion. So what does this actually look like? How do we use this in real life? Well, the text doesn't just leave us hanging with high-level theory. It equips us with very specific, practical phrases. Think of these as tools in a mental toolkit, ready to use whenever you feel overwhelmed by the illusion of loss or suffering. So if a project falls apart at work or you feel a sudden wave of anxiety, you pause and apply one of these. You say, let me not see an illusion of myself in this. Or, as I look on this, let me remember my creator. Or even, my creator did not create this as I see it. You use these phrases to actively interrupt the ego's panic cycle and remind yourself that the current stress is not your ultimate reality. Let's move to and see how this builds right into Lesson 68. The text states, grievances attack love and keep its light obscure. If I hold grievances, I am attacking love and therefore attacking myself. So if Lesson 67 was all about recognizing your invulnerable true self, Lesson 68 addresses the absolute number one roadblock to actually experiencing that self. And that is the universal human problem of holding on to anger and resentment. We really need to demystify this concept of a grievance, because in our normal day-to-day lives, we often think holding a grievance is totally justified, don't we? We think it's about seeking justice, or keeping a mental ledger, or protecting ourselves from someone who wronged us. But the text explains that a grievance, holding on to anger or resentment, is actually a direct attack on love, and by extension, a complete denial of your true self. It's a self-inflicted wound. Gripping onto resentment, it's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get sick. It accomplishes absolutely nothing to the other person, but it entirely blocks your own ability to experience peace and clarity.
So the crucial point is this. Gripping onto anger alienates us from our true nature. Holding grievances means you are actively attacking yourself, obscuring the light of your own mind, and becoming completely alien to who you really are. You literally lose touch with your true nature when you choose to stew in anger. Choosing love, however, means holding no grievances at all. It means remembering who you are and maintaining your inner light. So framing Lesson 68 as the ultimate solution to the human condition of self-sabotage, choosing to drop a grudge isn't about letting someone else off the hook. No, it is an act of supreme self-preservation. It is the ultimate boundary you set to save yourself from your own ego.
Now, what's really interesting about this concept is how the text equips you to defend against those sneaky, everyday frustrations. It provides these specific forms to apply when you feel a grievance forming. You can literally tell yourself, this is no justification for denying myself, or I will not use this to attack love, and let this not tempt me to attack myself. These exact phrases act as a powerful mental shield against the daily temptation to hold on to anger. The next time you're tempted to get absolutely furious over someone cutting you off in traffic or maybe sending a passive-aggressive email, you deploy these phrases. You remind yourself, hey, this minor event is simply not worth the high cost of my own inner peace.
Now you might be wondering at this point, okay, so how long and how many times do I need to sit down and practice this? Well, the beauty of this source material is its transparent, incredibly practical approach to your daily schedule. Instead of demanding a rigid timer or set repetitions or, an hour of silent meditation, actually, scratch that. It's not about a formal sit-down at all. You are instructed to use this as a dynamic, moment-to-moment practice exactly when you need it. Throughout your day, whenever you feel the temperature rising, whenever you're tempted to hold a grievance or forget your true nature, you simply apply these thoughts. It's an active, real-time course correction for your mind as you go about your normal life. It's empowering because it puts you completely in the driver's seat of your own inner state.
All right, let's bring this all full circle. If you remember nothing else from today's explainer, lock these two foundational statements into your mind right now. Lesson 67, love created me like itself. And Lesson 68, love holds no grievances. These two ideas, they work in perfect harmony. Because your true self is created by love, you're already whole, you're safe, and you're complete. And precisely because you are whole and safe, you have absolutely no logical need to hold on to the heavy, painful grievances of the past. They simply don't belong to you anymore. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. What would your day look like today, right now, if you completely dropped the heavy weight of your grievances? Just imagine the energy, the intense clarity, and the profound sense of peace that would instantly rush in to fill that space. It is entirely within your power to choose that reality today, just by changing your mind. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. If you found this helpful and you want to continue learning how to navigate complex ideas with clarity, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really, really helps us out. Until next time, stay curious and protect your peace.